Coming again, who wanna roll CDC coming again, who wanna roll job, we are coming again, who wanna roll mama Joe, we're coming again, up in the roll CDC coming again, now the whole country giant coming so, good evening again and a warm welcome to the weekend edition of the CDC Hour. The CDC Hour is a 60-minute package of activities within the Congress for Democratic Change and other happenings that affect our national society. Today is Friday, June 20th, 2025, and by the way, tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm announcing it today. Tomorrow is my birthday. But today we're going to discuss a lot of issues about the CDC, some of the auxiliaries in the CDC, and so we are hosting two energetic and enterprising young gentlemen from the Congress for Democratic Change, and they will introduce themselves when we go over to them. But we'll be back in a jiffy after a bit of our team song. So much and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Ishiaka Sharif. I will be riding you for the next 57 minutes as we go through the program. Like I said, we'll be hosting two enterprising young gentlemen from the Congress for Democratic Change. One is already in studio, and we go straight over to him. They are setting up his gadgets, and so you will soon see him if you are on the live feed. But he's here now. Good. I will go to him in a jiffy, but the other guy will soon be in studio. So the Congress for Democratic Change is making headways. A lot of issues are going on. There are young people who are available to talk about activities in the CDC. And you in Radio Lands, as partisans of the party, you just have to sit and listen very keenly and bring forth your contribution, because this promises to be a very heated show today, because these young people are very prepared to articulate the issues to the best of their abilities, and they are here. So we will soon go over to them. But before we go to them, let me inform you on some of the activities that have been going on. The party is still exploring various avenues, having strategic institutionalization of its due payment process to be launched in the district. In fact, when I spoke with the chairman a few days ago, he told me that Ishaka, we are about to launch the decentralization of the due payment in the districts, and also the model of doing that is to collect the dues in the district, and a certain percentage of the due will remain in the district for party operations, like supporting the process of acquiring party offices and paying our rent, and also other party activities in the district. But I think they should be ready now. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the CDC Hour on Kings FM 88.5. Could you introduce yourselves and let's go directly into the show?
So thank you, Ishaka. By the way of preamble, well, I'm political Widanti Nelson, the chairman of the CDC Regulars Intellectual Militants.
The CDC's regular intellectual militant. Okay, you are chair of the CDC's regular intellectual militants, and that, in fact, that auxiliary you're just mentioning was, I mean, is one of the most powerful, intellectually calibrated auxiliaries in the Congress for Democratic Change, and they played a you guys played a very pivotal role in the 2023 presidential and general elections, though the CDC lost the election. But thank you for the introduction. The next gentleman has just entered the studio. Comrade, good evening, and could you introduce yourself and your, may I say, your portfolio?
So thank you, and I want to say sorry for the poor quality of my voice. It is because we have been engaging with other political actors across the district since today. So my name is Aaron G, and I'm the vice chair of political affairs of the CDC's regulars in the Ledger Meridian.
Aaron G is a name that a lot of people very much admire on the social media. Very bombastic in terms of information dissemination of the party's activities in the country. There is not too many. There are not too many places this name is mentioned without people knowing the person behind this name. So it's good to be with you today. Though I've known the both of you. Um, uh, I've known the both of you from the party headquarters. We have, crossed path on many occasions. But thank you. Let's go to the chairman. Mr. Chairman, why are you here? Why are you here?
So thank you. Let me say a very big thank you to the King's Heaven family for being this cruising studio. Thank you for the invite. So basically, we have come to let the public be informed about the CDC regulars in the Ledger Militants. So the CDC regulars in the Ledger Militant is a movement that was funded after the 2023 presidential elections in November when the CDC lost to the current Unity Party that is governing the state currently. So, group of young men, courageous young man, told us that because of their resilience and their courage, for every time they assemble at the party headquarters in Congo Town, they said to themselves that the CDC is our way of life. Even though we are not in power anymore, but coming to the CDC make us to feel more happy, to be pleasant with our spirit. Whenever we are not at the CDC headquarters doing things of the CDC, we feel that we are not happy at all. So these young people muster the courage to formulate this movement called the CDC Regulars in the Ledger Militants. Today, that millions of people have been following the workings. So when this CDC Regular in the Ledger Militant was established, the late part of November of 2023, we had a specific purpose. So we came out as a group. We said, this is our manifesto. So we came out, we said, we are first defense of the party. Whenever the party name is brought in the public, we have to go both on the social media, via intellectual centers, and via radio station to provide the argument to save the party image. So over the period, you notice that the CDC regular intellectual militants members have been both on the social media, defending the party, and also providing the contradiction against this current regime that promised the Liberian people that they were coming to rescue. So, at Vera Intellectual Center, like I said, on the radios, and even in our very communities, we provide the argument on behalf of the CDC. Why is the CDC better than its current regime? We provide all of those arguments. They have been our foundation purposes.
Okay, thank you so much for that explicit information about the formation of the CDC Regular Intellectual Brigade. Let's go to the Vice Chair for Political Affairs, Mr. Aaron G. What are some of the activities? Because you know there are a lot of different uh, auxiliaries of the CDC, many of which are also doing a lot of the work you do, that is being in first line of defense for the party in terms of, what a cyber attack, what an intellectual attack against the party. And you guys have done an extremely marvelous job over the years since your formation. And so, but the question here is, what are some of the activities the CDC intellectual this group has been involved in since your formation? I know there have been a lot of different successes from your end, but in order to enumerate some, what are some of your success stories?
So thank you, Virgin Isaka Sharif. Like again, we want to say it's a pleasure being here and representing the CDC regulars in the lecture meeting. Like the chairman said in his opening, laying the basis for the formation of this group, we want to salute the Secretary General of our party, Mayor Jonathan Tamakochi, who is the brain behind the formation of what is today known as the CDC's regulars intellectual meeting. To the question he asked, since our establishment, and I think the chairman made some reference to that in the introduction of the group, our primary rules are to protect both the physical and intellectual property of the CDC. That is something that we have not fallen short of any day. So most of the time, since our establishment, we have been to the community, carry out mass community mobilization. We have been into the community, and we have also ensured that the party message, though we are not in government anymore, but the message of the party should be spread out, whether to Atai Center, to online platforms, electronic media or print media. We are always there. So we have done a lot of things in the short and since our establishment. We have been around, but like I said to you, our primary focus is to protect and defend both the intellectual and physical property of the CDC. So whenever the intellectual property of the CDC is under attack, we have an obligation to rush in defense of that. Whenever the physical property of the CDC is under attack, we also have an obligation to rush in defense of that. That's why we are called the CDC regulars intellectual meeting. We are always at the party headquarters. There where we live, there where we sleep. The CDC is at home. So the only thing we see is the CDC. We see nothing else but the CDC. So we were very successful. Like in few months back in January, around January, we celebrated our 1 year anniversary successfully. That was shared around, and people saw what the CDC intellectual militant is made of.
Okay, thank you for that explicit explanation about some of the militants. In Liberia, on many occasions, a lot of people who misconstrue the the standing of the CDC in terms of its vibrant, intellectual manpower capacity. A lot of times say the CDC does not have intellectuals, but looking at the level of enthusiasm, the energy, the intellectual prowess that you guys bring to the discourse. What's the message out there that you have to send to our, because all of us are members of the party. This is a CDC show, as a matter of fact. So what's the kind of message that you have to send out there to your critics, who will always take the pavement and do some of these unnecessary, unverifiable criticisms to the CDC?
Yeah,
Because you guys are really enterprising. Look, I'm listening to you. I mean, people who are in radio lens listening to you, they sometimes they cannot believe, though it's a normal thing that the CDC has uh, produced some of the best intellectuals the country can produce right now, that the country can boast of.
yeah. So, Federal Sheriff, what I want to say is that those guys from the other angle really admire us. They admire us a lot. And, it's a myth that people will be in the corridor saying the CDC cannot match the intellectual prowess of the Unity Party. That's a blatant lie. We want to challenge them any day, anytime. They admire us a lot. That's why on many occasions, someone they come to us personally, come in our inboxes to seek advice. But we are not moved by that. Our focus is to protect the CDC. This is why we do not shy away from the debate. We have never come out one day, and we have no record of such to state in any public gathering or even on social media that the CDC took a decision and we have our opposing view to that decision. Not at all. So only weakness does that because you do not have the capacity to defend the decision of your institution, like what we are seeing in the neighborhood today. But for us, what we believe in is the CDC. And the CDC is training. We are not being trained yet. We are going through the process. We are receiving training on a daily basis. So it is. We are not like the other guys from somewhere Broad Street who just they don't normally go to the party. They hardly go there. So our presence here, the members of the CDC regulars in the land media can take anybody from the National Youth League of the Unity Party into a serious national debate. We take them on and will come out with flying colors.
Okay, let's go back to the chairman, Nelson. Looking at the election loss, uh, and coming now to the party, coming back to the party headquarters, the party is about, or the party has transitioned into having a radical, fundamental overhaul of the party itself, that is restructuring, whether from bottom to top or from top to bottom level, restructuring its national executive committee, a consideration to do that, the county leadership, district leadership, sometimes probably some of the auxiliaries like your own. Uh, Now, having lost the election in 2023, and we have come this far, and looking at some of the reasons for which the election was lost, a lot of our partisans who may have been disenchanted, for which they went and voted against the party, thus giving the Unity Party an upper hand in the last election. Uh, and considering this kind of vigorous, radical, fundamental overhaul system that the party is involved in now, what is the message do you have for those people who may have led us to our loss? What's the message to them, considering that they come back to the party I mean, because mistakes. We are human. We are a human organization, and so we are prone to make errors. And so, what's the message to them? Do you call them to come back home so that we can move on together with the party and seek a decisive victory in 2029?
So thank you, veteran Ishaka Sharif. So let me say this. The last program we hosted at the party headquarters when the political leader spoke, and there was a message. What he said, he told all of our burdens that left the Congress of Democratic Change for whatever reason to come back. The Congress of Democratic Change is their home. If you were disenchanted, it's time that you go back home. We can put together all of the bitter pieces. We know you had issues with certain people, and the party had done 99% restructuring. So you have to come back home. We have a CDC that can certify you at this point in time. We have a CDC that can make George Weah to become the next president come 2029. So all of our disenchanted brethren that left the CDC prior to 2023 elections, we are asking them to come back. It's time that they come back so we can hold hands to work against this reckless regime.
He said, for those of you who may have left the party for different reasons, we call on you to come back. The elderly people, we still need your wise heads. We still need your advices. And he said to the United Party, we are looking at your mistakes. We are studying them and we are coming back to fix them.
Sure.
Those were some of his exact statements he made. Okay, and he made those statements at the launch of the due payment process on April 12th
Definitely.
at the headquarters of the CDC. So, what has been your own engagement with our partisans, with our well-wishers, to pay their dues? And what do you think? Why do you think the due payment is important?
So thank you. If you follow the whole
Get it correctly. You are
Yeah,
the vice chair for political affairs, seemingly
sure.
responsible for recruitment of political species to the auxiliary, and ye the Congress for Democratic Change. How many how many people, how many non-citizens have you attracted to this party as a as a as a political affairs vice chair?
Yeah, so to practically state that, it will be an understatement because for us, we are quite across. We do not only work because of own professional career, but yet they still listen to us and they believe in what we say to them. But as it relates to bringing people out of the CDC and being seen to the CDC activities, yes, we have achieved on that. And
Youth League, and on that day, one of the young intellectuals of the country, by all standards, a very brilliant young man, Jacob Jalla, who was assistant minister in the Ellen Sharif led government, uh, pledged his support to the CDC, and there has been a lot of different frontiers opened by the party to get the support of different people. Okay, so uh, that was that, and the party is strategically moving on, having different consultations with different other political institutions to open an alliance, or whether an alliance or a coalition or a collaboration or whatever you may call it. And you guys are very much cardinal, very important to that process. So, what's the kind of role you will seemingly be playing in such a process, especially bringing people on board of your caliber and caliber of other people who might just be there to really push the CDC across the finish line in 2029.
so, further, it is important that you ask that when we sit here today to unveil some of the messages we have received behind the scene from elements of this regime who are very much disappointed, they are frustrated. These are brothers and sisters that we told few months or years back that Mr. Parker was training on his dangerous path. Statements he made during the campaign were not statements that are going to fuel the young people. Today, young people are disappointed. Evidence of that, over 7 young persons from the Union Party youth angle have written publicly expressing their own disappointment and frustration.
Yes, namely David Queen Nangwe, you talk about Lasana
Yeah,
Kane and the rest of the
it is
guys.
obvious.
But basically, Mr. Chairman, let me ask you, you know, this is, I mean, this we're talking about is very much important because people supported the regime with their financial resources, their moral support, and everything. Their families were that their families, safety was put on the line and everything. Today, we have, despite all of its differences with the CDC government, but the former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Councillor Cabinet Jane, on yesterday made a startling revelation, a regret that he regrets ever supporting the United Party, and as a matter of fact, went ahead to apologize to the Liberian people for having participated in bringing Mr. Boakai to the presidency, for which he is violating all of the laws, becoming a lawless president, I mean, governing a lawless country. Mr. A.B. Krumah, I understand the former Director General of the DEA is in line to do similar thing. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. People, it's just 2025. Who knows 2026, 2027, what might happen? So these people are now coming to the pavement to express that this appointment, that this enchantment as to supporting the regime. So what have you to say, and what kind of olive branch could you give them if they decide just to come to the CDC?
So thank you. We expect that. It is not something that is surprising to us because we know the person called Joseph Human Boyka. Joseph Human Boyka is not strange to us. We have done a research on this character. We know him very well. So when we were telling our friends from the other side about the character called Joseph Human Boyka, some of them didn't listen to us. But as God could have it, now they are saying the actual reality. What we spoke of back then, they have set in. You know, let me say something. You can lie a million times to come to power, but you cannot use that same million lies to maintain power. No way. Because the actual reality will set in. There's no way you can deviate from the actual reality. They are saying it. They know that Mr. Bwaka was a complete disaster to this country. But back then, they never knew the actual reality of Mr. Bwaka lies of coming to rescue the Labrador people. But now they are saying it. Mr. Bwaka have abused 99% of the laws in our country. Tenure position. The entire democracy in our country right now is at stake. It's because Mr. Bwaka doesn't care at all. Just few months back, Mr. Bwaka forcibly removed a certain speaker. Not just that, tenure positions. Mr. Bwaka disrespected the law. He took people from internal positions. Civil servants, Mr. Bwaka get them off. He got enough because all, all Mr. Bwaka believed that because those people that were employed from 2018 upward to 2022, they are seditious. So seditious are not qualified to work in the Unity Party-led government. But when Mr. Weah was in the presidency, he didn't talk about CDC, only seditious obtaining a job in his region. He was the president not just for CDC, but for the entire Liberia. This is the kind of president we are talking about. But Mr. Bwaka is different. Mr. Bwaka is a president only for Unity Party. And there are too many evidence. Over 7,000 civil servants have been dismissed, taken from jobs, all because Mr. Bwaka think that it belongs to the CDC. So with that,
let me just hold you there a little bit and bolster that point because there has been over 7,000 people taken out of jobs for political reason. The civil service has been purged. Uh, People who are seen as political opponents of the regime have been thrown out of the civil service. And as a result of that, the purchasing power of those people has greatly reduced, sometimes non-existent. So it has impacted the local market, for which the marketeers, our mothers, our sisters, our brothers in the markets are not getting the necessary, I mean, they are not having the necessary sales of their goods and services anymore. As a result of that, the local economy is despondent. The people are despondent. The people are disenchanted with the regime. Social services is not as is high, though it has not been a perfect one, but it has been better before. And so the people are expressing that disenchantment, especially with the bread and butter issue. The government is not doing well. All in the streets, you pass in the street corners, you pass in, I mean, especially where the everyday Liberian is, the everyday Liberian man or Liberian woman goes on a daily basis. There is no way out. The people are very tired now. I mean, with the government just in 18 months. So,
So, to conclude, as I was saying, Veteran, you have a country right now that, if you look at the economy, the suffering have increased billion times than we are like government. You go in the market, the marketers are crying. People are not buying. Just for the masses in our country to get food to eat is something more than difficult. But Mr. Boakai don't care. Mr. Boakai feels that he's the president for only the Unity Party. When you say this, Mr. Boakai will not give you that listening ears because he feels that he's the man. Because the country have rescued Mr. Boakai. Mr. Boakai is not here to rescue this country because I'm not saying anything about rescue. But those guys are here to rescue their pockets. And mind you, the citizens of this country are worrying because this old man who claimed that he had 42 years of experience, his experience was experience of something he don't know about. This old man that claimed he had experience, he's just looking at a child who just graduated from the daycare going upward to the kindergarten as well to K1. He's just looking like that. At this point in time in Liberia, our democracy is seriously troubling right now because this man we are talking about, the legislator, the judicial branch, this man have using his power to influence everything. He has weaponized the judicial system in our country. Some citizens in our country right now are afraid because we are not far from 2029. We are just looking at a year. If something cannot happen to make this old man give me senses, I tell you no lie, 2029, it will be something different in this country.
okay, let me go to Mr. G. According to you, Mr. Chairman, and everybody is looking at it vividly, international community, local international groups, human rights organizations are looking at it. The government respects no law. The government, I mean, has uh, as the government has used the judiciary system to get at other people. And so, right now, as I speak to you, there's despondency in the country. A lot of people are, for example, calling on both the Minister of Justice and the Inspector General of Police, Councillor Oswald Natus and Gregory Comer to resign because of the way they are proceeding with, especially the investigation into the Capitol building arson case. Having been touched, probably because I don't know whether it was caused by human action, the burning of the Capitol building, the police involvement in that process. Even prior to the burning of the Capitol building, the police had been very heavy-handed on lawmakers only from the Funati Kofa side of the divide, and they went ahead to effect the arrest of people mainly from the Funati Kofa side and make it as a sham. The police has been very political in its handling of the case until relatively recently, when one of the suspects in the case that was brought back to Monrovia and placed in a hotel, fed with food, fed with shawarma and other, food, and giving money and coerced to lie on Psychokofa and the rest of the people. And this case has now drawn international attention. But yesterday, the police director came out and justified the same thing, that there was a contact with Mr. John Yanti, but Mr. John Yanti family requested that they wanted they wanted him to be used as a state witness. How are people used as state witness? It said the request. It said at the request of an indictee, or is at the request of the government. So where are we?
Yeah, so thank you, and it is good that we are discussing this issue. On that, I want to firstly begin by saying, if Liberia, or if Parker was a serious president, like President Weah was, but now the name Gregor Como should be nowhere around anything that has to do with government in this country. Gregor Como has desecrated the office of the Inspector General of Police. Evidence of that is his presence at the media press, regular press briefing yesterday. When this Lespe wearing police inspector general appear at Migat to score un goal, what do I say un goal? Validating the points we made that you as a policeman arrested Yanti on June 6th. Yanti was never into this country. When you indicted, you arrested Speaker Kofa and all CDC lawmakers. Yanti was not into this country. When you arrested CDC's militants, even Susan and other guys, you indicted Yanti. His name has been mentioned that he's indicted in extension. On June 6th, you arrested Yanti. According to you, Yanti was arrested by police in Ghana. Our question to you, Mr. Gregor Como, why didn't you inform the Liberian people on June 6th about Yanti's arrest? Looking at the importance of this case, Yanti being one of the individuals on a run. You arrested him, you didn't inform the Liberian people. Why did you take Yanti to a lifestyle hotel and kept him for 18 days?
I kept him for 12 days.
12 days.
Actually, from
12 days.
Yes,
You
12
took Yanti from Ghana and kept him for 12 days, feeding him 3 times a day to coerce him, and you came out yesterday with your cap on your head, telling the people, oh, we got in contact with a relative. Why didn't you mention a relative name? The question to Gregor Como should be, in fact, Gregor Como should be charged for kidnapping.
So, but do you agree with other people that Representative James Collet, Fode Fambule, Samuel Koga, who is senator now, should be arrested by now, because people are accusing them of being the real mastermind behind the burning of the Capitol building, for the fact that on the 18th, the building got burnt, and on the 20th, because the 18th was on Tuesday, there was a protest on Monday on the 17th, after which the police dispersed the crowd and took siege of the entire Capitol building premises. The place got burned on the 18th. 19th was Wednesday, but on the 20th, the cheers for both the speaker and the deputy speaker reappeared at the Monrovia City Hall, where they were sitting, and Representative Sekou Kenneth and Rachel Kun were sitting on both of those chairs and doing usual business for the majority bloc. So do you agree with other people that those guys in the majority bloc should now be arrested and questioned and even placed behind bars, like the Kofa, the Dixon Wulawuli Sibu, Abu Kamara, Jacob Dibi, and the rest of the guys. Do you agree with that?
Virgin, Gregor Como will plunge your country. Before I go to that question you asked, we want to ask Mr. Gregor Como. It is good that he brought the issue of Gregory. Why is it when Gregor told the Liberian people during the capital building impasse that the police were going to be in charge of the capital building, we saw police on live camera beating lawmakers. They can't come back to the of that. Why is it up to today's date, the investigation into the burning of the capital building, there's no police officers that have been invited for investigation? To your question, yes, the left of Jim Colette should be handcuffed. James Colette is fully from. I say, why do I say that?
James Colette was seen bitterly.
I'm coming. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? This purported speaker who import himself on the Liberian people, Rachel Kuhn went to West Point community and started informing the Liberian people. In fact, apologizing to them for what happened on capital. In fact, he took the blame.
Yeah, he said they created embarrassment.
He took the blame.
He said
So
they created
the level of Jim
embarrassment.
Collier, fully family, Rachel, they should be handcuffed by now. They should be handcuffed. These are people who masterminded the things that are happening at capital building. The men can go to West Point here and tell people that, oh, you're sorry for the primary. Why put you to tell people sorry?
Okay, if you're there, you're listening to the CDC Hour on Kings FM 88.5 and Kings FM Facebook page live. If you're on the live feed, you can contribute by writing your feelings on the live feed. But you can call us on 0772239933 086 30 44 97. The lone female line is 07779800375. Again, 0772239933 086 30 44 97. Or the lone female line for women only to call on 077980375. You can begin to place your calls now until your calls come. Let me say, do we have a caller? Yeah, hello?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Weston Martin. I joined your conversation from year 11, district 11. Yeah, I got district.
Yes, let's hear you.
The region speaker district. Okay. Let me say things from my chairman, in studio. Yeah, I am a member of the CDC regular, intellectual. Thanks so much, for always, working hard and keeping the party moving strongly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, let's hear you. Your name and where you calling from?
Is this CDC Hour?
Yeah, this is CDC Hour. You are right. You are at the right place.
I'm outside the different calling from Compass in Nimba County.
How is our signal in Nimba?
Yeah, I'm calling from Compass in Nimba County.
How is our signal in Gompa?
Yeah, Compass is fine.
Okay.
But what's on my mind, I want to discuss, I want to have the party informed. CDC is some of all parties. You should know me. I think you are our in Zion. But since I've been in Nimba for the past 1 year, I observed that the leadership in Nimba is getting very weak. It's getting very weak. And if the party leadership do not take a stand and come to Nimba, come to the now will give us hard time in Nimba. To be frank to you, I think you saw it yesterday. The deputy for chairman for operation has left the party because the weakness of the leadership in Nimba. So I want to find this information. The second again, the thing has to do with the capital building. The government to see reason because you can't have people in the capital building as a man. There's some representative in that capital building up to 12 o'clock midnight.
Yes,
What were they doing there? What were they doing there? And secondly, again, the chair they were using, the speaker got burned. Why the two chairs all got burned? They have to take the chair from there. This is questionable.
Okay.
about the point there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will address the NEMA issue for the party. I think, do we have another call? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, let's hear you. Welcome to the CDC Hour.
Yeah. Thank you. After this brother and the CRO for the city legislation management. I give bravo to my chair and the vice chair for whatever I say. Okay, as the chair earlier, we are education for this study. We are very important to Canadian business, social media, and government. Secondly, our people within the country that the people are still using the lies that they use to win the election within the country. After the election, the government satisfactorily, we are still using lies to govern the people. So we are all in the drug community, we are all on them to terminate them, to dismiss those that we are still using.
Okay, thank you. We have more people on the line. Okay, we have hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for the show this afternoon. Thank you to our students. One good thing you're doing for us, you're teaching us. When we're learning and they're keeping us to the science. I'm calling from Joseph here. They identical legislature problem to ourselves because really is that the people sit down and laugh us. They will sit down, we can't even make a team to show ourselves that we tired of it. How will somebody be arrested in Ghana and bring a person in Liberia then? Ghana, but they will sitting here, we just look at everything, they put just lies to us. We stand up with it. What treating us? No job, and then they can't even settle their own trouble. Because they don't get nothing to do for us. This is why they always cost and after 1 year you will because your money, let your business. They will go 3 years. After 3 years, they get us to do for us. Then it's a small project and we elaborate.
Okay. We lost you. Hello?
Hello,
Let's hear you in 30 seconds.
Hello,
Yeah, let's hear you. Let's hear you.
Yeah. We just have to forget for you because they I don't know how I find them because they not nothing to talk about to. They want to put the letter. They say they share and they share to the motor. Then they say a point for cancer was on the mountain. Then they say they want to know for the person and you also on TV. We are breaking wrong. Now, the moment because the staff are seeing the people are say we are working, they're not working fair. They feel it, they want to work 1 year. They are going for they think 7 people, they came out making, and I'm making without doing a the party. They are breaking, they must tell it, president.
We will tell the president. Thank you so much. Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Let's hear you.
So Pastor G calling from Chosen New Israel community.
Yeah, Pastor, let's hear you.
One of the white hair. We are happy that that court was made to everybody that was in the CDC that did enchanted, and everybody is a good court. We happy and we pray that everybody feel easy to come back to the party. But what I want to advise my son, as a father called Kanta, is now we start working now, by now, to start working. I'm from Biandoru. I have plane. I'm sick. I'm okay now. I have plane. By the end of this month, I'll be getting to you people so that the other young guys in there can move it out so we can start working there as a joint member.
Okay, when you come to Monrovia, just get to me.
For the financial issue, it's very issue.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, my name is Robert here.
Yeah, Robert here. Are you the governor of Negro now?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Are you the
Yeah.
Robert Tia, governor of Negro Town?
Oh, no.
No, I know you're not. Let's hear you.
Yes. So, to the Cdc Hour, I really appreciate you people' effort. And what I want to express this evening is that I support the brother from Nima County that said that the party, system getting weaker in Nima. Okay? The same thing about Grand Basso. For me, as on Grand Basso, yeah, we are big. Okay? But the party system getting weaker there. And you people, the hierarchy of the party, you shouldn't focus only on Monserrato. You please try to spread power in a very country so that we'll be able to empower the young and the old people that are there.
Thank you. Let's take the last two calls. Hello?
Yeah, good evening, Ishaka.
Yeah, good evening.
And good evening to your student guests.
Yeah, let's
Well,
hear you.
this is Mohammed Donzo.
Mohammed Donzo.
Well, I call from the Somali job. Well, Ishaka, this evening, I just want to send a caveat to Gary Coleman. Reason is, Gary Coleman, your fabrication of lies is too elementary. Because nothing is reasoning within your fabrication of lies. The entire nation and the people of Liberia know that what you are saying, you are lying. It came on a platform by from the measure of information. He went there and fabricated a lie that is contradicting you and the family. So, Gary, come on. I just send you a copy to what you are doing.
Thank you.
I don't know which school you went to.
Thank you so much. Let's take the last call. Hello? Mama, you want to bust my ear? Hello? Okay. If we do not have another call, let's go back to our studio guest to wrap up in 2 minutes, 1 minute for each of you. You listen to the callers, and what's your feedback?
So thank you, veteran Ishaka. Let me say
And do it in 1 minute.
let me say thank you to the Kings FM family for the invite. It's our pleasure to come here another time to talk more on some national issues. So you listen to the callers, majority of the callers that are talking in our interests, and most of them are concerned about the Mighty Congress of Democratic Change. But let me say this as I conclude within my 1 minute, veteran Ishaka. We want to say this to Mr. Boakai, Mr. Gregory Coleman, and the list go. Do you understand that the CDC is here to stay forever? The Unity Party does not have what it takes to erase the CDC, like what Mr. Boakai said some months ago. He wanted to erase the CDC from the surface of this earth. Let me say that. And let me be clear. The CDC is here to stay forever, like I said earlier. Mr. Gregory Coleman, if you think that you will manufacture lies against Speaker Kofa and others, you should be lying to yourself right now, because you don't have the capacity to manufacture lies against Speaker Kofa and others in a court of competent jurisdiction. We are waiting for your evidence. We are following the case to the end. If you think that you continue to coerce people to lie against Speaker Kofa and others, you must be joking, because we are on top of everything. We know the games you are playing. We know how to play that game more than you. We understand the in and out of that game you are playing, Mr. Gregory Coleman. We know how to play it very well. So you must be mindful. You must know that this case is not an ordinary case. Allow the court to proceed. And Mr. Boycott, you must stop weaponizing the judiciary system in our country. You are weaponizing the judicial branch of government in our country. That's how you are overtaking the legislature in our country. And we know that very well. Mr. Bwaka, we are watching you.
We are watching you, Mr. Walker. So let's go to Aaron G, the Vice Chair of Political Affairs. What may be your party comment?
Thank you,
In 1 minute.
Sergeant
We
Ishaka
are out of
Sharif.
time.
And let me say thanks to all of the callers who called to make their input. Before I conclude, in my conclusion as well, let me say that we have begun doing a communication to Harvard University to revoke the academic credentials of Mr. Gregory Como. He does not deserve to carry such. He does not deserve to carry such because he understands nothing about the ethics of policing. So we will do that communication and we will send it to Harvard University. However, we want to say to our brothers from the other end, do not get too confused. This is the CDC. The CDC is open to everybody, whether you are disappointed or not, whether you feel left out. The CDC is a home for all. We encourage you to come on board to join ranks with brothers and sisters who are about to ensure that His Excellency President George Mani will return to the president comes 2029. Not even Mr. Bwaka, who in his later taking went somewhere and said that in the reason, no, you should not dream about that. For us, we are committed, we are battle ready, battle tested. Any day, any time, we are prepared to ensure that His Excellency, anything that has to do with bringing Excellency back to the president, we are prepared to execute that. We are prepared to execute that to the core. So that's why we will never shy away from the CDC. The core names will be around. Whenever there are contradictions, we will provide clarity and ensure that 2029, the CDC become very, very successful. Thank you, Virgin.
Okay, we'll provide a contradiction and make sure the CDC becomes successful in 2029. With that note, we have come to the end of this week's edition of the CDC Hour. Until you see us, it will be next week, Monday, the 22nd or the 23rd of June 2025. And on Monday, we will be joined by Honorable Prince D. Crippler from the U.S. is going to be serving as one of our panelists beginning on Monday. Until then, I say thank you for listening. I'm your presenter, Ishaka Sheriff. Have a very nice weekend.